Number the text message. I miss you. Right now. I stood beside my father as he typed that message into his phone. The last two words sent a chill down my spine. Not asterisk, asterisk, I miss you, Mom. Asterisk, asterisk. But asterisk, asterisk, I miss you right now. Asterisk, asterisk. My father, asterisk, asterisk. Victor Carter, asterisk, asterisk, stared at the phone screen with an urgent expression, as if he had just discovered a sudden opportunity to become rich. I stood there, the newspaper trembling in my hands. The front page of the asterisk, asterisk, Willow Creek Tribune, asterisk, asterisk. A large photograph took up nearly half the page. In it, a silver-haired woman stood tall in front of a luxurious hotel with a gold-plated sign. Asterisk, asterisk. The Grand Marlowe Hotel, asterisk, asterisk. She wore an elegant gray suit, her gaze calm, her smile confident. That woman was my grandmother, asterisk, asterisk. Jasmine Carter, asterisk, asterisk. The headline read, asterisk, asterisk, from nothing to legacy, Jasmine Carter builds boutique hotel empire at 76. Asterisk, asterisk. From nothing to a hotel empire at 76. I swallowed hard. 3 years. 3 full years without any contact. No calls, no texts, no emails, not even a birthday wish. And now, my father was sending her a message. Asterisk, asterisk. I miss you right now. Asterisk, asterisk. I looked at him. Dad, does Grandma know you're texting her? My father shrugged. Of course she knows. I just texted her. His voice was casual, as if 3 years of silence had only been a short pause. Nothing serious. Nothing worth mentioning. My stomach twisted. Behind us, my mother, asterisk, asterisk, Elaine Carter, asterisk, asterisk, was cleaning the living room. Not normal cleaning. The kind of cleaning people do when they are about to welcome someone extremely important. She adjusted the sofa pillows, rearranged the flowers. She even changed the tablecloth. Emma, my father turned to me, his eyes lighting up. Set the table for 5 tonight. Why? He smiled. Your grandmother is coming for dinner. I froze. She agreed? Not yet. He shrugged again. But she'll come. I looked down at the newspaper. A Hotel Empire. 6 boutique hotels. Millions in revenue. 3 years ago, my parents called her a burden. And now, she had become an opportunity. If you're listening to this story, pause for a second. Ask yourself one question. Asterisk, asterisk. If a family once abandoned one of their own, but that person later became successful, asterisk, asterisk, are they still family? Or are they just strangers? Who suddenly remembered they share the same blood? Tell me in the comments where you're listening from, because what happened at that dinner completely changed the way I saw family, and the way I saw myself. My name is asterisk, asterisk, Emma Carter, asterisk, asterisk. I'm 28 years old. I work in marketing for a small startup in asterisk, asterisk, Willow Creek, asterisk, asterisk. My family was never rich, but we weren't poor either. My father always said that all we needed was one good opportunity, and we could become wealthy. It was just that opportunity had never come, until now. As for my grandmother, asterisk, asterisk, Jasmine Carter, asterisk, asterisk, when I was little, she was the person I loved most in the world. She lived in a small wooden house in asterisk, asterisk, Brook Hollow, asterisk, asterisk, a quiet neighborhood lined with maple trees. Behind her house was a rose garden. She cared for every rose, as if it were family. Whenever I visited, she always told me, Emma, hospitality is not just a job. It's an art. She had worked in the hotel industry. She started at the front desk, then became a front office manager. She used to tell me stories about the hotels where she worked. Stories about guests, little details that made people feel welcome. People may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Those words stayed with me for years. But everything began to change. When I was 13, my parents started complaining, not because she was sick, not because she needed money. She was still healthy, still working part-time, still taking care of herself. The only problem was that she no longer offered any benefit. One day I heard my mother say, Your mother didn't save enough for old age, so who's going to take care of her later? My father said, We are. I was shocked. Grandma had never asked us for money. She even brought gifts whenever she visited. But in my parents' eyes, she had become a potential expense, a future burden. And so, they started keeping their distance. Thanksgiving? We're busy. Christmas? We're going skiing this year. Her birthday? Maybe next year. And every time it happened, I saw her eyes grow a little sadder. But she never complained. She simply said, "That's okay. You all are busy." 3 years ago, all contact stopped completely. No one called. No one texted. My mother even blocked her number. She needs to understand that we have our own lives. My mother said it as if my grandmother were some annoying acquaintance. Not her mother-in-law, not the woman who had raised my father. And I stayed silent. I didn't call her. I didn't text her. I did nothing. I lived with guilt every day. But I was too weak to stand up against my parents. Until today, at 6 o'clock that evening, the doorbell rang. My mother opened the door with a bright smile. "Jasmine, it's so good to see you." Grandma stepped inside. Her silver hair was neatly arranged. Her gray suit looked elegant. Her pale blue eyes were sharp. She did not look weak at all. On the contrary, she carried a calm, undeniable authority. In her hand was a black leather briefcase. "Victor, Elaine, Emma." She nodded to each of us. "Thank you for the invitation." My father shook her hand. "We've missed you, Mom." She looked at him. "Really?" A brief silence. "I didn't realize time moved differently for you than it did for me." My father gave an awkward laugh. "Come sit down, Mom. Dinner's almost ready." That dinner was the worst performance I had ever seen. My mother kept praising her. My father kept asking about the hotels, pretending to be interested, and I sat there in silence, ashamed. "Jasmine," my father said when the main course was served. "The article in the Tribune was very impressive. Your hotel chain is incredible." Grandma cut her meat slowly. "You never asked." My father laughed. "Well, we're asking now." She set down her knife and fork, looked straight at him. "You thought I was broke." No one said a word. She continued, 3 years, without a single phone call. Not even on my 76th birthday. I sat by the phone all day, and nothing came. The room went dead silent. If you think the story ends there, you're wrong, because in just a few minutes, my grandmother was about to do something that would leave my entire family speechless. And that was only the beginning. Et par deux. Number. Jasmine's first reversal. "You thought I was broke." My grandmother's voice was very soft. She did not raise it. She did not slam the table. She was not bitter, but that calmness made the room feel so suffocating that I could barely breathe. "My father, Victor Carter, tried to keep a polite smile on his face, but I saw the tension flicker in the corner of his eyes. My mother, Elaine Carter, set her wine glass down a little harder than usual. The sound against the table was dry and sharp. I sat there with both hands pressed tightly on my lap, feeling as though I were witnessing something about to explode. My grandmother slowly dabbed the corner of her mouth with her napkin. Then she looked up. 3 years, she said. 3 years without a call, without a text, without a single visit. And yet all it took was one article on the front page of the Willow Creek Tribune, and suddenly I became someone worth remembering. My father cleared his throat. "Mom, it's not exactly like that." "That's all right," she nodded, as if indulging a child who had told a very clumsy lie. "I didn't come here to hear explanations you don't even believe yourselves." My mother tried to step in with a gentler tone. "Jasmine, I think tonight should be warm. After all, we're still family." Grandma turned to look at her. There was no anger in her eyes, only clarity. "Family," she repeated. "Family is made of people who remember each other when there is nothing to gain. Family is made of people who ask, 'How are you?' before they ask, 'What do you own?' Family doesn't disappear for 3 years and then come back with perfect smiles the moment they smell money." My mother stiffened. My father immediately changed tactics, lowering his voice like a son trying to make amends. "You're right, Mom. I won't deny that we were wrong. But everyone makes mistakes. What matters is that we want to fix it now." Grandma looked at him for several seconds. The silence stretched so long that I could hear the wall clock in the living room ticking in the distance. Then she leaned back in her chair. "Victor," she said, "what exactly do you want to fix?" My father hesitated for less than a second, but that was enough for me to understand. He had not prepared for this question. He had only prepared to flatter her. I want us to be close again, like before. Which before? She asked immediately. When you were little? When I worked 2 jobs to raise you? When I stayed up all night sewing your shirt before school picture day? Or does the before you mean only begin now that the newspaper says I own 6 hotels? My father pressed his lips together. My mother stared down at her plate as if it contained an escape route. I lowered my head. Every word Grandma spoke was like pulling a cloth off the table, exposing everything rotten underneath. If you've ever sat through a meal where every fork, every glass set down, every swallow sounded like nerves colliding, then you know how terrifying that room felt. But the worst part had not happened yet, because a few seconds later, my father did exactly what I had feared most. He smiled, a smile that was too polished, too calculated. Mom, he said, the truth is, I'm very proud of you. Building all this at your age, that's not easy. I just think you shouldn't be working so hard anymore. My grandmother said nothing. My father continued, his voice growing smoother. Managing a hotel chain is no small thing, especially a boutique model. Every detail has to be handled carefully. Staffing, operations, finances, branding. You can't carry all that forever. You deserve to rest, travel, live comfortably, enjoy yourself. She tilted her head slightly. And then I looked at my father, and I knew he had reached the part he really wanted to say. I have business experience, he said. I've managed teams. I've handled operations. If you want, I can help. At first, I could just assist in a few areas, then maybe manage some departments for you. Over time, if you feel comfortable, I could take over the system completely so you could truly relax. There it was. At last, it was out in the open. Not love, not regret, but control. I felt my back go rigid. My mother did not look surprised at all. On the contrary, her eyes brightened, as if my father had just spoken the exact script they had rehearsed together. You know Victor is good with strategy, my mother added softly. And Emma works in marketing too. If we all contribute, everything stays in the family. Isn't that the best possible outcome? My grandmother smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had just heard exactly what she had predicted. She looked down, set her napkin aside, then slowly pulled the black leather briefcase toward her. I heard the metal clasp click open. My mother held her breath. My father leaned slightly forward. I don't know why, but in that moment my heart pounded so hard my hands went cold. She took out a thick brown envelope. Without a word, she placed it in the center of the table, right beside the now cold roast. What is this? My mother asked, unable to hide her excitement. Open it, Grandma said. My father immediately reached for it. He tore it open so quickly he nearly ripped the paper. Inside was a thick stack of documents. Not family photos, not a letter, but papers. A lot of papers. Reports, tableaus, charts, numbers. He flipped through the first page, then the second, then the third. I watched the color drain from his face, from curiosity to shock to ghostly white. My mother leaned over and snatched a few pages from him. Her eyes widened. Oh my God. Her voice caught. Victor. My father said nothing. He just stared at the numbers as if he had read something too large for his mind to process. Grandma folded her hands in front of her. Her tone was calm, as if she were presenting at a board meeting. That is the financial report for the hotel group over the past 3 years. Revenue, net profit, property value, cash flow, debt-to-equity ratio, management contracts, reserve funds, reinvestment allocations. I thought that if you were so eager to help, then at the very least you should know exactly what it is you're so eager to touch. My mother let out a breath. This chain is worth... She couldn't finish. My father looked up. His voice was hoarse. More than $12 million? Grandma nodded. 12.6, based on the latest quarterly valuation. The whole room went still. My hands trembled in my lap. Even though I had read the article, even though I knew she was successful, I had never imagined the number would be that large. $12.6 million. The woman my parents had once treated like a burden. The woman they abandoned as if she were an old item about to become expensive, That woman now owned an empire powerful enough to strip every expression from their faces. If you're listening this far, pay attention to one very real truth about people. Some people do not change when they discover someone else has become successful. They simply reveal more clearly who they always were. Money does not always make people worse. It just makes masks fall faster. My father swallowed hard. How? How is this possible? My grandmother looked at him. Do you really want to know? Of course. That's strange, she said softly. For years, you never asked how I was living, and now suddenly you want every detail. My father flushed red, but greed was clearly stronger than pride. I'm just surprised. She nodded. All right, then I'll tell you. She leaned back in her chair. Her gaze drifted slowly to a distant point, as if this dinner was no longer in our dining room, but had become a doorway into an older life. More than 20 years ago, she began, I met a man named Adrian Cole, I looked up. I had never heard that name before. He was a real hotel man, she said. Not the kind who only looks at reports and calls that leadership. Adrian understood every detail of the guest experience, from the smell in the lobby at 6 in the morning, to the lighting at the front desk when guests checked in late, to the way a towel should be placed on the armrest of a chair for an elderly guest. He was good. Very good. But more importantly, he had vision. She paused. He wanted to build small hotels with soul. No lifeless uniforms. No robotic service. Every property had to have its own story. Every guest had to feel remembered. I went still, because that was exactly what she had told me when I was a child. A hotel was not just a place to sleep. It was a place where people felt treated like human beings. At that time, she continued, Adrian had the idea, but his health was failing. He needed someone to help build it from the ground up, someone who understood the work, someone he could trust. My mother blurted out, and that someone was you? Yes, but where did you get the money? The question came too quickly, carrying that same insulting surprise she couldn't hide. Grandma turned to look at her, not angry, just disappointed. I had savings, Elaine, not as much as I do now, but enough to start. I worked for more than 40 years. I did not buy luxury cars. I did not try to impress people. I did not use money to prove my value to people who didn't deserve it. I saved $200,000, and I invested it. My father blinked repeatedly. It seemed that in his mind, the image of his mother had never included the word invested ***. Where was the first hotel? He asked. Seabrook, she replied. A small place near the coast. Only 18 rooms. Old. Damp. No one believed it could succeed. But Adrian saw potential, and I saw people. We rebuilt everything. Every wall. Every curtain. Every greeting process. Her voice slowed. And because it slowed, every image became vivid. In the early days, I worked the front desk myself. I inspected rooms myself. I called to confirm reservations myself. Some nights, when we were short-staffed, I changed bed linens alongside the employees until late. Some nights I stood in the lobby until midnight, just waiting for an elderly couple who were arriving late because their car had broken down on the road. We were not selling rooms. We were selling the feeling of being valued. My throat tightened, because I remembered it all. The things she had taught me. The words I once thought were simply advice from an older woman who had worked in service. They were the foundation of an empire. The first hotel turned profitable after 15 months, she said. Then came the second one in Ashford Heights, the third in Willow Creek, the fourth in Maple Grove, the fifth in Silver Pines, and finally, the Grand Marlow. My father flipped back through the documents, his eyes racing over the pages. He was no longer looking at her like a mother. He was looking at her like treasure, and that moment chilled me more than any argument ever could. Grandma saw it. Of course she saw it, and I knew she wanted him to see himself clearly too. Adrian died 5 years ago, she continued, her voice lowering for the first time. He had no children, no one who truly understood what he had built. Before he died, he left me his entire share of ownership. My father jerked his head up. All of it? All of it. Why? She looked straight into his eyes. Because he trusted me. Those 3 words fell across the table like a blade. Not loud, but painful. He trusted me. Something my father had never done. Something my mother had never done. something even I, in all my years of silence, had failed to do enough. He knew I would not sell out the soul of this system, she said. He knew I would keep the people who had built it beside us. He knew I understood that this was not just property, it was a legacy. My mother sat frozen. My father tried to smile, but the smile was crooked and weak. So, you built all of this and said nothing to your family? My grandmother was silent for several seconds. Then she said the sentence that made my whole body go cold. No, Victor, I said nothing, because I wanted to see whether family was still family when they didn't know what I had in my hands. No one moved. I wanted to know, she continued, whether you would still visit me if I were just an old woman in a small house in Brook Hollow. Whether Elaine would still ask about me if I had nothing to leave behind. Whether Emma had enough courage to step past her fear and come find me, even once. I looked up. She was looking at me, not with cruel accusation, but with sadness. The sadness of someone who had understood everything a long time ago, but still hurt because it was true. My eyes burned. I wanted to say something. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to tell her that I missed her. I wanted to tell her how much I had hated myself over the past 3 years. But my throat locked. I couldn't say a word. She turned back to my father. And tonight, she said, you invited me to dinner. Not because you missed me, but because you thought I was old, rich, and perhaps easy to persuade into handing everything over to you. Mom, that's not... Don't. Her voice sharpened for the first time. Don't insult either of us with a lie that week. The room fell silent. Then, she calmly pulled a few of the documents back from in front of my father. You just said you wanted to help me rest, didn't you, Victor? My father did not answer at first. Yes, I appreciate that very late kindness. She nodded. But I don't need it. Then she spoke slowly, as if she wanted each word to drive itself into all of us. I do not run this system alone. Every hotel has its own general manager. Every location has a properly trained team. I did not build this to depend on one person. I built it so it could survive on values, not bloodlines. My father stared at her, and I saw something darken behind his eyes. No longer embarrassment, no longer shame, but disappointment at ***, not getting what he wanted ***. Then who are you leaving it all to? He asked. The atmosphere changed instantly. That was no longer a son's question. It was the question of a man auditing an inheritance. My grandmother smiled faintly. That, she said, is your real question. I saw my mother stop breathing for a second. My father sat up straighter, and Grandma placed both hands on the table, her fingers thin but steady. I have already established a trust. My father's eyes widened. A board will continue managing the system. Profits will go toward reinvestment, employee benefits, and a job training program for older adults who want to return to work in hospitality. My mother went pale. And what about family? Grandma turned to her. Family had its chance a long time ago, Elaine. I heard my father grind his teeth. He tried to stay calm, but the smoothness had gone from his voice. You're punishing us. No, she stood up. I am protecting what you do not deserve to touch. I had never seen her so large. Not large in age, but large in a way that made the entire room feel smaller. Do you know what hurts the most, Victor? She asked. Not that you want my money. What hurts the most is that you only remembered I existed once other people confirmed that I had value. My father said nothing. She picked up her briefcase, looked at my mother, then looked at me. The moment lasted only a second, but to me it felt like a door closing slowly. Emma, she said. I startled. Yes? You still have time to decide who you are. I went still. She said nothing more. She simply turned and walked toward the dining room door. My father shot to his feet. Mom, Mom. She stopped at the doorway, but she did not turn back. From now on, she said, do not call me only when you need something, because I will not answer calls like that anymore. Then she walked away. Her heels struck the wooden floor. Steady, firm, growing more distant, until the front door closed. The house fell silent, and in that silence, I knew one thing. That dinner was not over. It had only opened the door to a real war, because when my father slowly sat back down, there was no shame left on his face, only a cold, calculating look that frightened me more than anything I had ever seen. He stared at the door through which she had just left. then said very quietly, almost to himself, "Fine. If she wants to be hard about this, then we'll do it another way." I turned sharply. "Dad?" He did not answer me. My mother stayed silent too, but her eyes said everything. They had not given up. They had only failed at step one. And in that moment, an icy fear ran straight through me, because I knew my parents. When they couldn't get what they wanted through fake kindness, they would choose another road. Addirtir one, a more dangerous one, and this time I would be standing in the middle. I will never forget the look in my father's eyes that night. After my grandmother Jasmine Carter left the house, the dining room stayed so still it felt as if time itself had frozen. No one spoke for nearly a full minute. The ticking wall clock sounded terrifyingly loud. My mother was the first one to break the silence. "Victor, this can't end like this." My father did not answer right away. He just stared at the documents Grandma had left on the table. The numbers, the charts, the property values, all of it lying there. $12 million. A number so large it could almost change anyone's entire life. Especially for people like my parents. People who always felt that life owed them one opportunity. One chance to become rich. One chance to prove they were worth more than what they had. My father finally spoke, but his voice was nothing like it had been earlier. No more flattery, no more fake warmth, only coldness. "She thinks she's so clever." My mother sighed. "Victor, no," he cut in. "Did you hear what she said? She's planning to leave everything to a management board, to employees, to those ridiculous training programs." My mother clenched her hands. "That's family money." "Exactly." My father looked straight at her. Family. I stood at the end of the table. My heart started beating faster, because I knew this tone in my father's voice. It was the voice of a man who had made a decision, whether it was right or wrong. "We can't let that happen," my mother said. My father nodded. "Of course not." I stepped forward. "Dad." Both of them turned to look at me. "This isn't right." My father frowned. "What do you mean?" "She made herself very clear. She doesn't want us involved." My father laughed under his breath. "You're young, Emma." He stood up and walked around the table. "You don't understand how the world works. The world isn't fair. And if you don't take what belongs to you, someone else will." I looked at him. "But it's hers." He stopped. His eyes turned colder. "She is my mother. And one day, everything she has should belong to family." I shook my head. "She doesn't believe that. She's wrong." The sentence landed like a knife. My mother rose and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Victor, calm down." But I knew. He was no longer calm. He was calculating. If you have ever watched someone begin stepping over a moral line, you will recognize that moment. There's no dramatic music, no lightning, just a change in the eyes, a decision made in silence. And everything after that will never be the same again. 2 weeks passed. My parents began calling Grandma almost every day, sending flowers, sending gifts, inviting her to dinner. But she always declined. Politely, firmly. "Sorry, Victor. I have a meeting with my hotel managers this weekend. I have a training session for new staff on Friday. I need to be in Seabrook on Sunday." My mother started losing patience. "She doesn't trust us." My father shrugged. "She thinks we only want money." "Well, we do want the money," my mother said bluntly. I stood in the living room listening to that, my stomach twisting. My father laughed. "Exactly." I stepped in. "Do you really think Grandma can't see that?" My mother turned to me. "Emma, you're so naive. We're not bad people. We're just protecting the family's interests." I looked at her. The family abandoned her for 3 years. The air in the room instantly turned cold. My father stood up. "That's enough. You should remember who raised you." I bit my lip, but for the first time in my life, I didn't stay silent. "And she's the one who raised you." The room went completely still. My father looked at me as if he were seeing a stranger. "Are you taking her side?" I didn't answer, but my silence was answer enough. A month later, everything changed. And it started with a phone call. That night, at nearly 11 o'clock, I went downstairs to get some water. The house was quiet, but when I passed my father's office, I heard his voice. He was on the phone, and he was speaking very low, very carefully, as if he did not want anyone to hear. I stopped. I don't know why, but something instantly felt wrong. Yes, my father said. A small hotel chain, 6 locations. I held my breath. Yes, that one. Marlowe Hospitality Group. My heart slammed against my chest. That was Grandma's hotel system. There's nothing complicated about it. My father continued. Just bad reviews. I felt ice spread through my whole body. Fake reviews. Bedbugs. Dirty rooms. Rude staff. Anything that will drive customers away. I had to put a hand against the wall to keep myself steady. My father was hiring someone to sabotage my grandmother's business. No, it has to be gradual. Don't post all at once. Spread them out over a few weeks. Yes, bet, $5,000. I'll send Bitcoin. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This wasn't just greed. This was sabotage. Fraud. A crime. I backed away as quietly as I could. My heart was pounding so hard I was afraid he would hear it. I went back to my room, closed the door, then slid down to the floor. My hands were shaking. I knew that if I told Grandma, my parents would know I had betrayed them. They could throw me out of the house. I didn't have enough money to rent my own place. But if I stayed silent, her hotel chain could be destroyed. The thing she had spent more than 20 years building. I remembered her eyes that night. Not angry, just sad. A sadness so deep it didn't need to be spoken. I remembered those afternoons when I was little, when she walked me through hotels in Willow Creek, pointing out every detail, every employee, every smile. Emma, she used to say, a good hotel is not the prettiest one. It's the one that makes people feel valued. I covered my face. I couldn't let my father destroy that. I couldn't. The next morning, I made the hardest decision of my life. I called her. The phone rang twice. Emma? She sounded surprised. It's me. Is something wrong? I swallowed. Grandma, can we meet today? Right now. There was a short silence. Then she said, come to asterisk, asterisk. The Grand Marlowe, asterisk, asterisk. I'm in the lobby. When I arrived, she was already there, sitting in the hotel lobby. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows. Guests moved in and out. Employees greeted people warmly. The atmosphere was calm and welcoming. She looked at me. What happened? I sat down, and I told her everything. The phone call, the sabotage plan, the fake reviews, the money, the Bitcoin. Every word that left my mouth made me feel like I was breaking my family apart. But when I finished, she simply stayed silent. Not angry, not shocked, just silent for a very long time. Then she placed her hand over mine. You did the right thing. I burst into tears. I'm sorry. I should have come to you sooner. She shook her head. You're here now. That's enough. I wiped my tears. What are you going to do? She looked out the window. Her eyes were calm, but hard. I'm going to protect what I built. And this time, she said slowly, your father is going to learn a lesson he will never forget. If you think the story ends there, then you still don't know what happens next. Because just a few weeks later, my grandmother would arrange asterisk, asterisk, another dinner. Asterisk, asterisk. A dinner my parents believed was a second chance. But in truth, it was a trap. And when the private dining room door at asterisk, asterisk, the Grand Marlowe, asterisk, asterisk opened, every secret would be exposed. Bar 4. Number, the final dinner at the Grand Marlowe. 3 weeks after our meeting in the lobby at asterisk, asterisk, the Grand Marlowe, asterisk, asterisk, my grandmother sent my parents a text. Just one short line. Asterisk, asterisk. This Sunday, I'm inviting the whole family to dinner at the Marlowe. We need to talk. Asterisk, asterisk. I knew immediately what was about to happen. But my parents didn't. They thought it was a sign that she had softened. That afternoon, my mother practically turned the house into a dressing room. She tried on 3 different dresses. My father wore the suit he only used for important meetings. I think your mother has reconsidered, my mother said. My father nodded. She's old. In the end, she understands that family is the safest place for her assets. I stood in the doorway, watching them, saying nothing, because I knew. This dinner was not reconciliation. It was asterisk, asterisk, judgment, asterisk, asterisk. When we arrived at asterisk, asterisk, the The Grand Marlowe, the hotel was glowing. The lobby was wide, with high ceilings, chandeliers casting warm golden reflections across the marble floor. The front desk staff bowed their heads respectfully when my grandmother walked in. "Good evening, Mrs. Carter." She smiled lightly. "Thank you." I saw my father's eyes change as he looked around. Not the eyes of his son. The eyes of a man calculating the value of every stone. A manager led us upstairs. A private dining room. The door opened. My grandmother was already seated at the table. But she was not alone. There were 3 other people in the room. A man in his 50s, with a stern face. A woman in a black suit opening a laptop. And a younger man holding a file. My father stopped. "What is this?" My grandmother stood. "Victor, Elaine, Emma." She nodded. "Sit down." My father didn't sit right away. "Who are these people?" She gestured toward them. "This is Roy Henderson, a private investigator." The man nodded. "This is Diane Foster, my attorney." The woman gave a slight smile. "And these are 2 of my hotel managers." The atmosphere in the room changed instantly. My father looked at her. "What does this mean?" She sat down. "Sit down, Victor." After a few seconds of hesitation, he did. Attorney Diane opened her laptop. The large screen on the wall lit up. The first slide appeared. Asterisk, asterisk. Screenshots of negative hotel reviews. Asterisk, asterisk. "For the past 3 weeks," Diane said, "the Marlowe Hotel Group has received more than 40 negative reviews." Next slide. Bedbugs. Dirty rooms. Rude staff. My father frowned. "So what?" Diane clicked again. The next slide appeared. IP addresses. Fake accounts. Cryptocurrency transactions. Recipient names. The bank account that funded them. The sender's name. Victor Carter. My mother gasped. "Victor?" My father went rigid. That proves nothing." Roy Henderson spoke for the first time. "We have the recorded phone call." Next slide. A transcript? Displayed on the screen were the very words I had heard that night. Asterisk, asterisk. Write fake reviews. Bedbugs. Dirty rooms. Anything that drives customers away. Asterisk, asterisk. The room fell completely silent. My father stared at the screen, unable to say a word. My grandmother stood up, slowly walked over to him. "Victor." Her voice was very soft. "You tried to destroy what I built." My father trembled. "Mom, not because you needed money," she continued, "but because you wanted money." She paused. Her eyes were sad, but not weak. "You didn't want to help me. You wanted to take it." My mother burst into tears. "Jasmine, please listen to us explain." She shook her head. "No." Then she turned to the attorney. "Diane." The attorney nodded. "We have prepared a lawsuit. Business sabotage. Defamation. Economic damages." My father went pale. "No, Mom, you can't do this." Diane continued. "If prosecuted criminally, Mr. Carter could face up to 5 years in prison." My mother panicked. "No, please don't." My father lowered his head. "Please, Mom." "You were wrong." My grandmother looked at him for a long time. Then she sighed. "I am not pressing criminal charges." Both of them let out a breath of relief. But she continued. "I am filing a civil suit." The attorney spoke again. "The damages sought are asterisk, asterisk, $850,000, asterisk, asterisk." My father nearly fell out of his chair. "$850,000?" She nodded. "You tried to destroy the work of my life. You will pay for that." The lawsuit lasted 3 months. The evidence was overwhelming. The court ruled in her favor. The final judgment. Asterisk, asterisk. Victor Carter was ordered to pay $850,000. Asterisk, asterisk. My father didn't have that kind of money. He had invested most of what he had into a failed real estate project the year before. In the end, we had to sell the house where I grew up. My parents moved into a small apartment in East Willow Creek, a neighborhood my mother had once looked down on. My mother called Grandma many times, crying, begging for help, but Grandma always gave the same answer. "Elaine, I forgive you, but I will not rescue you from the consequences of your own choices." One time my mother shouted into the phone, We're family. Grandma was silent for a moment. Then she said very softly, family does not abandon each other when they think someone is useless. Family does not come back when they smell money. Family does not destroy each other out of greed. Then she hung up. 6 months later, my parents had changed. Not because they wanted to, because they had to. My father got a job at a sales company. Not glamorous, but stable. My mother worked part-time at a small clothing store. They lived on real income. No more dreaming about easy money. They wrote letters to Grandma, not asking for money, just apologizing. She replied occasionally. Short, bonita, but the distance remained. As for me, I moved out. Grandma invited me to work in the hotel group, not because I was her granddaughter, but because she trusted me. On my first day, she said, Emma, respect is not something you receive once. You have to earn it again every day. I started at the lowest position in the marketing department. 2 years later, I became the group's marketing director. We launched a new project. It was called Never Too Late, a hospitality training program for people over 60, people who once believed their lives were already over. The program succeeded beyond anything we expected. Hundreds applied. A 72-year-old woman named Evelyn Moore, once told me, I thought all I had left to do was wait to die, but now I have a reason to wake up every morning. One afternoon, Grandma and I sat in the lobby of the Grand Marlowe watching guests check in. Do you regret it? I asked. Cutting them off? She thought for a while. I regret that things had to happen this way, but I do not regret my decision. She looked at me. Love without boundaries is not love. It is permission for other people to keep hurting you. I nodded, and for the first time in my life, I felt peaceful. If you are listening to this story and you feel like Jasmine, treated by family like and ATM or like Emma, trapped between what is right and what is easy, remember this, family is not just blood, family is the people who stay beside you when you have nothing to give them. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is set boundaries, If you were in Emma's position, who would you choose? Family or the truth? Share your thoughts.